Welcome to The Guardian, a law enforcement podcast. We are a nationally accredited organization. This podcast is driven by interns, some of the best interns in the world. And my name is Mark Ballard, and I have the honor and pleasure of having two wonderful guests with me today. First of all, Dr. Bekah Sparks. Please introduce yourself to our listeners.
I'm Bekah Sparks. I have worked at Mississippi State Extension for 16 years. I started out doing IT support. I have a background in communication and technology, and then I started a PhD in human development and family science. At the time, I had a 9-year-old, and he is now 15. But through that, with my work with technology and parenting, felt like there was kind of a need for parents to be educated and informed on technology trends and uses, because if they don't know what their kids are doing or how they're doing it, then they can't prepare and help their kids and teach them safety measures as well. So that led to the creation of Digital Guardians.
Well, I'm very glad that you approached us on this. And someone that was right there from the first meeting was Sergeant Chris Jackson. Chris, tell our listeners a little bit about your background and why you might be on this podcast.
Okay. So I'm Chris Jackson. This August is going to be 18 years in law enforcement. Wow, time has flown. I have an associate's in computer programming technology and a bachelor in management information system. So I got more into the cybercrime field. All right, when I went back to school later in life, I had no desire for cybercrime. I just want to learn to program. If I'm paying for it, it's going to be something completely different. Well, we started getting really digitally focused cases, and I understood the technology. And that's where there was a pivot in life to go for this. So I have training from the United States Secret Service's National Computer Forensic Institute. I even got an award from them. What was it, 2024, the significant case?
That's correct.
Recently, in October 2025, expert witness in court for digital forensics. It's become more of a passion now, developing tools to help law enforcement catch the bad guys. And it goes pretty deep.
Thank you. Chris has definitely fallen into an investigative lead with something that we see over and over again. And again, very glad that you came to us with the Digital Guardian and in its concept. And I think it's very important for our listeners to understand. I love to use analogies. We mentioned in the original podcast, the ocean. I think that's a really good one, right? It's powerful, it's beautiful, but it has some dangers. And you need to embrace that. I've got a little bit of a different analogy when we talk about today about the Yahoo Boys and some of the subject matter that we're going to be going into. I visualize downtown Manhattan packed, tens of thousands of people in a block that's really full of shoppers, and that's why I think the internet's at. And an individual from Queens, New York, is going to be better equipped to go in and go through there, walk through the crowd than perhaps someone from Kansas. And not take away from Kansas, but what I'm talking about is the street savviness, the digital citizenship that the Digital Guardian is attempting to do to make us smarter, wiser, to where we become less victims. We embrace the internet. Obviously, AI is an important component in everything that we do now. We have to embrace it. We don't have a choice. Mm-hmm. But the avocation is, if we do this, if we walk those streets of Manhattan, we need to get street savvy. We need to get street savvy for our parents who are becoming victims of crime, for ourselves, and most importantly, for our innocent youth that are out there. And that brings us to the subject matter today of the Yahoo Boys. And some of the research conducted by our interns was really on point. So what are the Yahoo Boys? Well, we're going to be talking about a group of individuals that really started off with the letters that you might get in the mail back in the day of the Nigerian prince. Well, when the internet came online, probably one of the fastest venues and most popular was that of Yahoo email and Yahoo private chats. And this is where this particular group became really good at social engineering. And from there, the name is carried. Yahoo Boys has had numerous news cycles, videos, educational components put on them. While they are based out of Nigeria, they have since grown. They've grown in their financial crimes. They've become very specialized in sextortion. They've expanded into Guyana, into Niger, into other areas. But I think it's also important for our listeners to know the nation of Nigeria were the first to experience becoming victims to this. And in 2019, I saw an interesting intern statistic. 3.8 billion lost by Nigeria to Nigerian scammers. So they started there first. And so the people from Nigeria shouldn't be, associated just with scammers any more than an individual from Rome should be associated with the Italian mob. It is a small group of people that give a large group a very bad name. And the Yahoo Boys have successfully done that. And through the years, they've gravitated to where the international code of this internet crime that they're so good at, internet crimes, is 419. And the 419 code is a Nigerian code for meaning scams, fraud. So if you're charged in Nigeria, it's a 419 code, and therefore it's known internationally now. When you're talking about a 419 episode, you're talking about a scam or advanced fee type of fraud. The interns also successfully brought up in their research that the Yahoo Boys started off originally with their financial, as the internet grew, financial. One of the populars, if you are a senior citizen, retirement, gold. We all know gold is stable. They use that to their advantage. They have now started developing AI sites that are extremely effective, look like very legit corporations to go in there and pull money. And you've got seniors that are there that are becoming victims. That's one little leg of this. The second leg, if you are a female over 40 and by yourself, they have become really specialized in attacking loneliness. And I say that because the female numbers are probably 7 or 8 higher than the male numbers. It's not that the men aren't, but women by their nature are more effective communicators, perhaps more trusting to some extent, and are very active in these platforms that they use, like Facebook and others. And they're very good at attacking that demographic. And lastly, the one we'll be talking about today in depth is sextortion. And these are really where they're attacking our youth and doing a very effective job with that. So when you talk about sextortion, whether Chris, Bekah, either one, and tell me what you thought about sextortion when you first heard about it, and then what you know about it now. I'll start with you, Bekah. Tell me about when you first heard about sextortion and how it's developed through your research and pivoting digital guardian.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, I never even heard of it until a couple years ago when our community had experienced that close to home. And again, having a teenager who at that time didn't have a cell phone or any type of social media, like it just made me nervous and more aware of what I needed to do as a parent to try to educate him and prevent him from doing that. Because I mean, my son's very social, right? And it would not put it past, I would not put it past him to, believe that he knows everybody and just like accepts followers and stuff like that. And so I was just very worried and stressed out about that. And so I really didn't know too much, but the more I have learned and looked into it, and I know, like you've mentioned, it's huge in Nigeria, Lagos, or however you pronounce that place. But I mean, that's kind of where it's known for. But they're going out and teaching people. They're holding master classes, basically teaching everybody all their tricks and trade. I mean, they're not keeping it to themselves. They're letting everybody know how they're doing this. And I've recently read an article about a teenager, a high school student, somewhere, I don't know if it's in New York or somewhere, but somewhere up north, who just got arrested for doing the exact same thing to these local students that he goes to school with, pretending to be somebody else and stuff like that. And so I don't know if any of that helps. Like, y'all are the experts for it, but just, I don't know, it's scary, but it's important to know and also know that they're not hiding it. They're not.
No, they're flaunting it.
Yeah, I mean, you can get on TikTok and see them
The
showing
training
exactly how they do.
episodes.
Yeah, and how they're changing their voices, how they're using AI videos to do this, and I mean, it just blows my mind.
Well, again, they're kind of like I heard this in some of the newsreels that we did. They're a very good virus. They're continually changing, embracing new technologies, and they've gotten patient. Whereas back in the day, I think in the Yahoo Boys, when in their original content, the first 10, 15 years, they would work off of isolation. They couldn't isolate you. They'd pivot, move on to the next victim. I think for me, and Chris, I'll get to you on that sextortion question. For me, I was surprised at how long and patient that they are with a
Right.
target. And you got to keep in mind, even let's say even if it's a widower or something, and it's a $20,000 score, that's a lot of money, but it's not 250. But if you think 20,000 in Nigeria, that's several years' income. So they will patiently, they've changed, they evolved, they will put in 6 months, 18 months of building a relationship. And this kind of, I guess, goes back to the psychology where most people have a vision, whether you're singing a song or you read about a story, you paint a vision. And that is kind of why this digital addiction that we'll talk about in the next episode is so important into their crimes and how they do it. You become you have a fake facade, you have fake interaction, and in your mind, it's so easy to believe, especially if you're going through emotional problems. Chris, no one at this table's seen more than you have with it. Tell me about, you mentioned earlier about the pivot, the turning point, the passion. You two are a family man. You go into this. What was your idea of sextortion then, and what is it now through the training and investigations that you've done?
Okay. So when I was first introduced to sextortion, let's do an analogy. Have you ever just not paying attention when you walk and just like walk into a wall?
All the time.
Yeah, and
Honestly.
you know everything about that wall as soon as you walked into it. You know if it's made out of brick, if it's plaster. You might even have some of the paint on you. That's the way this hit me.
Yeah.
It wasn't the normal type of crime that we were used to. So I have gone after child predators before, but their motive was more sexual.
To make contact, actual physical contact with the
Physical
child.
contact
Yeah.
with the child. Sextortion is exactly what it is. Sex extortion. They're extorting the individual. And it's usually someone young, so they haven't developed all the mental faculties. And there's a panic. I remember panicking about missing a pencil before a test in middle school. Imagine the panic that these kids have now.
Right.
So the more I learn, it's a business. And if you look at the group of all these different scams that are online, think of them like as tentacles on an octopus. That octopus is the group, and these different tentacles are the different diversified portfolio of a scam.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think that no one, there was a scam artist that was a member of Yahoo Boys that came out and said that the Americans are probably the easiest catch out of a worldwide, and they go into everywhere. They try to go into, obviously, certain countries are very restrictive on their internet. They're not as successful in those kind of dictatorship countries, but in the free democracies is where they go. And in America is the easiest catch. And we're talking billions of dollars that are coming into that area. You're right, with the farms. I was surprised that on the internet, that, a lot of things get you pulled off the internet. You would think teaching Yahoo Boy lessons about sextortion would get you pulled off the internet.
Right.
But it's out there, and it's something that, again, our listeners in this country need to start waking up to. This is a very real challenge. And Chris, you're right. Nothing hits harder than the loss of innocence. And we have been hit. Unfortunately, statistics are going to show we're going to get hit again and again and again. That's why our passion of being guardians are trying to do everything we can to bring attention to, not only is it out there, it's very developed. And when they are up on you, the average mentality of a teenager is not going to be able to do this without pre-talking, education, and guidance. And teenagers, I get it. I've got a few. They think they know everything, and many times they know very, very little. But yeah, so I thought that this was an important subject matter when talking about the Yahoo Boys. Another statistics, and I'm just full of them with our research today, 70,000 last year tips that AI was being generated. So again, as a virus that they're changing, they're moving. No longer is it just the patience of waiting, talking about pets, talking about hobbies, bridging a connection. Bombardment, that was a term that obviously being prior service I thought was very interesting. And it is though the three of us decide to get together and we're going to do a criminal act. We're Yahoo Boys. We're going to come out at target. The bombardment seemed to be so effective. I don't know if many adults I know would fall victim to it, much less teenagers. In the research, they begin it on all the social platforms. Your athlete, what kind of sports you play, pictures of your dog. Think about how many people love pictures, especially in our society. We go on vacation, it's full of them. We go out on the evening date, it's full. People love pictures and they love posting it to the world. Well, these specialists have gotten really good at looking at the dog, identifying the jewelry, identifying other components, and then they know your neighbors, who's on your football team together, who's on your basketball team, who cheer squad. You name it, then they'll find the disassociation, two people over, and start really taking the identifiers. They might actually become friends with them through AI generated or false postings. And then it's so natural for the individual to look at all those connections, and even though they're guarded, to become agree to their post, and then it starts.
I know it's like social media will even have you as like, oh, you may know this person, or suggest a friend, or y'all have these friends and connections in common, and so it's easy for them to get in that way. Like, oh, you know my friend, whether they actually do or not, but
Yes. Snapchat is notorious, and we talked about that. Obviously, the whole basis of Snapchat presents a problem, right? And while they might market it that they're very, starting to evolve to become pro-parent, the problem with Snapchat and their data is they take a circle on location. Regardless of that individual's background, regardless of what's going on, they will try to force a partnership there of, hey, do you know this and that? And if it's all about the numbers, if you start becoming addicted on the likes, then there you go. You can have a whole host of people that you don't know. But the Yahoo Boys in their bombardment techniques have been very effective at getting the individuals. And then think about it. You get 1 to 2 individuals that you can score off a month. 6 months, 18 months when you're running 200 people is nothing.
Right.
And they're very, very effective with that. Chris, talk to us about, you made a very effective statement one time when you said, show me your hands if you know your children's friends on social media, and all the parents proudly raised their hands. He said, keep them up if you know who they're playing with on Xbox or PlayStation.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
So this is it's a broad topic. It's going to be a lot longer than a lot of time for this podcast, but when kids, and it piggybacks off what you said with Snapchat, when kids will play a game, they may get paired with a random person and they're automatically put into a chat. It could be Roblox, it could be Xbox, it could be PlayStation. It's whatever platform they're on. They're able to talk to them. So you may have that 45-year-old, 50-year-old sex offender in the same chat as your 13 to 14-year-old son or daughter. So most of the time, the parent's not going to know who they're talking to.
Right.
The kid's quiet, he's playing his game, or she. Parent finally got a break from him for 15 minutes. But also the kid doesn't know who they're talking to either. So it does fall within that. And I do want to piggyback off what you said with social media. Sometimes they're called threat actors. in the tech sphere are, we call them criminals, suspects. We suspect them of committing crimes. Just know anything that we can do on the internet, look at somebody's Facebook, pull up a phone number, or anything along those lines.
Dating protocol now, right?
They can do that now. They can do everything that you can do. So it is important. We mentioned digital citizenship in the past. We'll mention it more throughout this, is to lock down your social media presence. Limit what people can see on you.
So when a bombardment is successful, they're able to, and this is happening, ladies and gentlemen, this is happening a lot more than what people think, because the rarity in which reporting to law enforcement, we know it's probably 1 out of every 10 that's out there. And the numbers are probably even greater than that, but that's what we suspect. If an individual is targeted in sextortion, if that relationship is built that commits them to send the pictures or even generate the AI as though showing them example about what they're going to send them, right? Because it doesn't matter reality, it matters perception of reality. What are some steps that are important that an individual, a digital citizen, can do if they found that a loved one or a friend or someone comes to them that has been sextorted?
Sure. So your first thing to do is don't give in to the demands for it.
Right.
They're
Because they
gonna
don't
ask-
care.
they're
These
asking
are
for money.
horrible people.
Yeah. The second thing is to immediately notify the police. You can go to ic3.gov, Internet Crime Complaint Center. It's ran by the FBI.
Okay.
ic3.gov to report suspicious activity. That includes fraud, sextortion, anything to do with the internet, a crime. And you can also report, let's say, sextortion with a minor, to missingkids.org. That's National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
Right. We reference their statistical data a lot.
Yeah. Report it to them. They give it to the local Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. And also notify the platform. If it's on Facebook, notify Meta. Instagram, Meta. YouTube, Google. Just notify that platform so that way they can stop it.
I was on the National Missing, what is it again? The National Center for Missing Children website earlier, and they even have links to say, like, take it down, like if there's something inappropriate or, I think whether it's real or AI generated, I assume you could go through that. And I mean, would that be a good step for them to take? Or
I have suggested for people to do that. That's if it's posted like revenge porn.
okay.
Take it down. They will have it taken down. And if they're an adult, you can file a copyright infringement with Google, and Google will remove it from the searches.
Okay.
There's more than one way to get it.
Yeah. Well, going back on the Yahoo Boys, one of the things that I'd seen was in one community where they went into this, one of these farms that they, when I say farms, I mean like they're online fraud and scam farms, 60,000 false representations that were pulled up out of the farm. And so that gives you an idea of what you see is not what you can believe. If you physically have not met the person, it's probably a problem if they're wanting to reach out. Another thing that that in the trends, they love to isolate, get you off a more popular platform, bring you to a less popular platform, to be able to isolate and start trying to have that one-on-one conversation. And from there, the relationship building starts. So again, to kind of wrap it up, as a digital citizen, understand the threats that are out there. If most people, especially that I've spoke to and kind of preparing for this podcast, had not heard of the Yahoo Boys, the feds have known them for a long time. They've been around, again, since the internet. But it is something that as we continue to grow as a society and our reliance on these different platforms for our social outreach, we need to be aware of these threats. These are the bad characters on that in that alley in Manhattan that are looking for the kid from Kansas versus the kid from Queens. So as we get ready to close with this podcast, and we're talking about knowing Yahoo Boys, understanding what they are about, the evolutions, how they're continually changing. Understand too that there's an investigative component. While we're talking about a lot of what the digital citizen can do, documentation. These are complicated cases. The victims are going to be in one nation, and the suspects many times are going to be in another nation. So you're talking about international type of approaches that have to be merged in together before governments move on them. The Yahoo Boys are one that the government takes very seriously now in the United States. Thank goodness for that, and has been for a little while now. But this digital citizen, you don't delete everything. These people operate off isolation and shame. And like you mentioned earlier, document, freeze it. Don't forward the information, but take pictures to where there's some type of track record. And that factual information is very important for law enforcement specialists like Sergeant Jackson to be able to move forward on. With that being said, Bekah, we're getting ready to close. We're kind of running out of time discussing the Yahoo Boys and sextortion. Is there anything you'd like to add to our listeners as we leave?
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to mention, we didn't have a lot of time to really go into a lot of details, but with Digital Guardians, I mean, the purpose of this program is to educate, but also provide actionable steps. So, Digital Guardians is going to go more in depth on topics such as this and other things. And we have a website where you can go and be able to contact. So if you have questions or topics or concerns, we want to make sure that we're addressing, they'll be able to do that.
Yeah, no doubt. And listen, the Yahoo Boys have had 20, 25 years of really rolling hard on this. They're not getting 20 minutes.
Right.
Next podcast, we're going to go in depth on some case stories, some more in depth on tactics. But again, for our listeners, we're trying to warm you up, plant the seed, get out there, start being knowledgeable, talk to your friends and families about this group. Education is the key. It's the point of this podcast. It's why it's, part of our national accreditation or outreach. It's why we do what we do. Sergeant Jackson.
Okay, so I'm going to mention another group out of Nigeria just really quick before I give a few resources to people. Because most of your listeners, hopefully, will start researching Yahoo Boys.
Right.
Learn more about it. But also, give them the chance, look up Black Axe Group. It's out of Nigeria. It's also known as a Black Axe cult. They've been doing it just as long as the Yahoo Boys, but they've made it more of a religious thing.
I saw that where Nigerian students were kidnapped and sacrificed. It's kind of witchcraft. Interesting, no doubt. And that could be a whole different subject matter. So tell us some resources if you go into, again, you mentioned some of the steps of reporting. Tell us some resources that are out there.
So the best resource is knowledge. What you're going to want to do, you can go to Homeland Security's CISA.gov, CISA, .gov to get any type of research that you need, and it'll tell you about new threats. It'll also, you can report. Again, IC3.gov, Internet Crime Complaint Center by the FBI. They all work great together. You can contact your local police department for more information about what's in your area, especially the new thing that's been hitting a lot of elderly people. It's not just elderly, it's the crypto scams. The more you see those ATMs. Right. Because, sextortion's a business to them. You have to pay somehow. Crypto or gift cards are their preferred method. If someone says, I'm with the police, we require this gift card or this crypto, don't believe that at all, because police will never ask for a fine paid for that. But general research, be skeptical.
Yeah.
Skeptical people are less likely.
That's right.
To get scammed.
That's right. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining our podcast. This was a very quick episode. As we start to get more in depth, we will go into more on sextortion in the next podcast. Please join us. My name is Mark Ballard. Thank you. Be safe out there and take care.